My family and I lived in a ranch-style house in a fairly rural area. We were on the outskirts of town, and across from our house was a large woods that stretched out for miles. My brother Joey and I would often explore those woods for hours and hours. And we still would often discover new things in new areas. It was fairly vast, especially to us small kids. As we got a little older, we tried to push how late we would stay out there exploring. Mom and Dad always wanted us home by sunset or by dinner, but we would squeeze in as much time as possible out there. My parents were into nature and hiking and camping and stuff, so they didn't make a big deal about it if we were in just a little bit late. They were just glad their kids were out exploring instead of getting into trouble. My brother and I had never really seen any animals out there. The ones we wanted to see anyway. We wanted to see a bear or a mountain lion or an elephant or something, but we never saw anything that interesting. We'd often see squirrels and chipmunks. Occasionally we'd see a deer. A few rare times we would hear the howling of coyotes in the distance. But nothing extreme. Until the one night we snuck out. Joey and I always wanted to explore the woods at night. See the same area from a completely different perspective. Still being kids though, we of course were never allowed to do this. Until the night we decided we were going to sneak out to check out the woods at night on our own. Getting out of the house was easy enough. We slipped through the window in our room. We were prepared too. We brought our watches, our backpacks, flashlights, snacks. We were ready to explore. And it was fun. The woods really did seem like a different place. Clearings were somewhat illuminated by the moonlight, but mostly we relied on our flashlight to get us around. Places that we traversed over and over during the day were completely warped by the darkness, making every area seem new and exciting and somewhat dangerous. Exactly what we were looking for. It was probably after 2 a.m. when we decided we should head back inside. We were getting genuinely tired, and we had had our fun. We started heading back, our footsteps crunching through twigs and leaves. We stopped suddenly, though, when we heard some movement behind us. We were both somewhat nervous now. Our flashlight battery was dying, and we were still 10 or 15-minute walk away from the street in front of our house. We picked up the pace a little, but once we did, it sounded like whatever was behind us started moving faster too. Only it wasn't just behind us anymore. It sounded like it was to our left and to our right, like a herd of animals chasing us through the forest. This time we didn't stop. We just started running. Running through the forest using only the dying light of our flashlight to guide us, hoping we didn't trip on anything or slam into a tree. All the while the sounds of this unknown pack of predators getting closer and closer and closer. Joey and I didn't even speak. We didn't even look at each other. We just ran. After what seemed like forever, I finally saw the faint glow of a street lamp through the trees. My lungs felt like they were going to explode. We picked up the pace even more going into the final stretch, our pursuers seemingly right at our heels. Just as we were about to burst onto the street, my backpack caught a branch, stopping me dead in my tracks and making me almost fall over. "Leave it," Joey yelled as he pulled me. I slipped out of the backpack straps and ran out onto the street, under the light of the street lamp. We were a few houses away from our own. Right as we hit the street, all became quiet. We were alone again. After getting some distance away from the woods, we turned wondering if we would be able to catch a glimpse of what kind of animal was chasing us, thinking it must have been a pack of coyotes or something. It wasn't coyotes. Right at the edge of the woods, just barely illuminated by the street lamp, were a dozen people. Naked and dirty, standing on all fours, on their hands and feet, just barely behind the tree line, all wearing animal masks. They were silent as their heads turned in unison to track us. And then slowly, one by one, they slipped back into the woods. I couldn't believe what I'd seen. I even confirmed my brother had seen it too, and he said he had. We never mentioned it to my parents. We didn't think they'd believe us. Plus, we were out when we weren't supposed to be. But I heard a month later my father called the police about some unknown animal prowling around in the woods. Never heard about what came of that, though. The thing that creeps me out even more is what happened the day after we snuck out. The backpack I had left in the woods was sitting on my lawn, and when I opened it, inside I found a dirty rabbit mask. I don't think we'll be sneaking out into the woods anytime soon.